Hello and welcome in.
Please do not leave your luggage unattended on the station.
Welcome to the show.
Good morning and happy Friday. It is the weekend eve. I am feeling very happy. This week felt like a long week. I'm sure all of you guys can relate. I feel like every week feels like a long week, but it is finally Friday, so have no fear. We've got some fun things to talk about today. More importantly, right now in this very moment, turn on NBA TV because the Denver Nuggets are taking on the Boston Celtics in their first preseason game in Abu Dhabi. I know it feels weird to have a 10 a.m. Mountain Time tip-off, but it's a preseason game and they are in a completely different time zone. So Abu Dhabi, Nuggets versus Celtics. I imagine we won't see full minutes from our starters, but this is a really important time for the Denver Nuggets to establish some chemistry on their bench. We know that their bench is their weakness. And following that game, I will actually be sitting here in studio going live for another episode of Off Court. We'll break down all things Denver Nuggets. What did we see? What were the biggest takeaways? How do we feel so far after one preseason game? But before that, I will have my two hooligan bestie friends, Nate Jackson and BK, joining me here in the studio. We're going live in an hour to preview the Broncos-Raiders game. Hopefully the Broncos can finally beat the Raiders. My God, if we can't, we have way bigger issues to worry about. And then the Avalanche. The Avalanche got their first preseason win against the Golden Knights and their first regular season game, believe it or not. I mean, hello, it's happening very fast. Their first regular season game is next week against the Golden Knights. So I'm sure they're feeling pretty good that they were able to get a preseason win, their first preseason win over the Golden Knights, considering that is how they are starting their regular season. So sports are flying. Our CU Buffs are actually off this week. They've got a bye week. Next week, they're playing Kansas State. But this week, they've got some time off. Unfortunately for them, Kansas State also has a bye week. So both teams will be rested and prepped for one another. We'll see how that goes for our Colorado Buffs. But lots of sports. Like I said, the Nuggets are going live right now in Abu Dhabi facing the former champions, or I guess current champions, in the Boston Celtics. Our Avs finally got a dub in preseason. Their regular season starts next week. And the Broncos are hoping to not continue being the sons of the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders are the Broncos' daddy, and I'm over it. So we'll talk about that in an hour when BK and Nate join me. And then an hour after that, we'll talk all things Denver Nuggets versus the Celtics. And then after that, we've got hockey to talk about. And then after that, we have a Dumb Jock episode. Hello, happy Friday. We've got a lot of content coming your way, so make sure you're tuning in to all things Guerilla Sports, off court, off field, off ice. We've got you covered. Okay, let's get into it. Thank you for blabbing, Olivia. We're bored. Move on. Okay, I will. Fine. Let's talk about Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark, this is Nike's ad for the WNBA Rookie of the Year, Caitlin Clark. It's fantastic. Is there a rookie record for rookie records? What does that mean, Liv? Well, Caitlin Clark won 66 out of 67 votes for WNBA Rookie of the Year. Only one vote was not in favor of Caitlin Clark, and that vote went to Angel Reese. Of course, we've had this back and forth battle, I call it. I don't think it was a battle between them, but it was a battle between fan bases. Very polarizing battle, actually, between Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark. Who was the more dominant rookie? Who brought more views to the WNBA? Ultimately, Caitlin Clark rightfully deserved the Rookie of the Year award. Yes, you can make a case for Angel Reese being an outstanding rookie and having a great, great season. But Caitlin Clark almost unanimously won this award. 66 out of 67 votes went in her favor. So is there a rookie record for rookie records? That would be Caitlin Clark. She is phenomenal. And this is only her first season in the WNBA. So can't imagine what kind of growth we're going to see from her as she continues in this league. Shout out Caitlin Clark. Okay, the Miami Dolphins, let's talk a little bit about them, and not the fact that they don't really have a quarterback right now that they can trust, not the fact that Tyreek Hill is surrounded by trade rumors. Is he going back to the Chiefs? If he does, I will actually have to throw myself backwards off of this chair and potentially smack my head and go lights out because I can't handle that. Chiefs, knock it off. You've done enough. Okay. That's not what we're talking about here. We are talking, however, about Miami owner Stephen Ross, this cute little gentleman here, How cute is he? Okay. He is in advanced talks to sell 13% of the team. Sources told Front Office Sports. He actually completed his purchase of 95% of the Miami Dolphins team home stadium for $1 billion back in 2009. So he's been around for a while. He's been involved in this franchise for a minute. Now, under the current discussions, here's what we're looking at here. 10% will go to private equity firm Ares, okay? And another 3% will go to the Nets owner Joe Tsai. Okay, so they're splitting it up 10 and 3. Ares would become the first firm to take advantage of the NFL's new stance. I've talked about this on this very Guerilla Sports Daily show, that the NFL has taken a new stance on private equity when it comes as it pertains to NFL teams. This would be the first firm to take advantage of the new rules and the new changes here. This is following, like I said, the NFL changing their NFL ownership rules. So the Dolphins are going to go through some changes here, but again, nothing they haven't dealt with before. They are also in the middle of figuring out who's going to throw the ball to one of the best wide receiver rooms in the league. They currently don't have a reliable quarterback, so time will tell. My vote is Bryce Young. Get him over in Miami. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about the NHL. Liv, you don't know dip about hockey. You're right. However, I do know one thing. Per their commissioner, Mr. Gary Bettman, this is the most successful season we've seen. This most recent season was the most successful season we've seen from the NHL in league history, okay? And this is a result of record attendance and historically strong ratings, the beginning of new uniform contracts with Fanatics, and a successful staging of the league's draft in the Sphere, which we actually had some Guerilla Sports members out there getting us a firsthand look at that in Las Vegas. So the league is growing. What is next for the league? Well, I would imagine that a top priority for the fans, based on some research I've done, would be expansion. But Commissioner Gary Bettman says we feel no compulsion to expand right now. Rude. He's not one with the people. If something came in and checked all of the boxes and we felt that it might make sense, we might consider it, but we're not there right now. That's a lot of mights and no thank yous and not happening right now, and have some patience. I have none. So I would hate that as a hockey fan. Let me know how you feel if you're big hockey watchers, hockey fans. You've been a part of the NHL for a long time. If they were to expand, where would you like to see another team in the NHL? We know that Vegas is a pretty new addition to the league, and they had some pretty immediate success over there. We also know the WNBA is in the process of expanding. They just added a team in Portland. They're having conversations with Philadelphia and also Denver. There's expansions everywhere. I think the only thing we're really missing, actually, would be an NBA team in Vegas. That has never made sense why we don't have one. I think that's coming pretty soon. So anyway, all these leagues are expanding. However, the commissioner of the NHL says, despite having our most successful season in 2023 and 2024, we don't have any plans to expand right now, which is fine. Nobody's forcing you, Gary. Anyway, moving on. A little documentary going on. If you guys have not paid attention, we've got the receiver documentary where you can watch the NFL receiver room, some of the best receivers in the league. But now we have a documentary called The Starting Five. It is previewing or debuting or starting on October 9th. Hello, that's 5 days away. Can you believe it's October? That's actually sick and twisted. And it's also still like 90 degrees in Colorado. I don't know what Colorado's thinking or doing, but it does not feel like October. However, it is October, and in just 5 days, you can watch this new documentary, not really documentary, but series where you get to follow LeBron James, Jimmy Butler, Anthony Edwards, who I'm probably the most excited about, and Jason Tatum. I didn't mention the one, which is Domantas Sabonis, excuse me. He is one of the five, except he has expressed that he kind of likes to keep his private life private. Well, buddy, when you are signed on to a Netflix series, I'm not sure that your life is going to remain private. It'll be very cool, though, to get to know a little bit more about him. He has been a very dominant player. He's played for multiple teams. He's a rebounding machine. He can shoot well. It'll be really cool to hear from him because I don't think fans really know a ton about him. He's pretty good at keeping his life private, as he said. I'm a little disappointed we don't have Nikola Jokic in there, but we knew that wasn't going to happen because I'm not sure you can get Nikola Jokic to sit still for 1 second and actually give us something. I would love to be a fly on the wall, however, to see what Nikola Jokic does in his free time outside of riding horses. However, he is in Abu Dhabi riding camels. I'm sure his horses are pissed, but nonetheless, shout out Jokic. Bummed he's not going to be in this, but we do have some really, really great stars from the NBA that we will get a little taste of what their life looks like. And I'm excited. I think I'm most excited for Anthony Edwards, but if you're excited for somebody else, let me know who that is. Jimmy Butler, we know, is just a funny guy. He actually had a very normal media day this year, which is not like him. He's normally doing crazy makeup, being kooky and weird. But some of that to me, I was expecting him to have a normal media day this year, despite what we've seen in years past, because him and the owner of the team kind of got into it last year when Jimmy Butler was running his mouth to Celtics fans and his owner said, "Shut your mouth, you didn't even play." Didn't really have Jimmy's back, was actually on the opposite side. So I kind of expected him to maybe take a back seat and not be the center of attention and do crazy, weird things because Miami hasn't been winning games the way that they should. So it's time to maybe get a little more serious, Jimmy. Anyway, that's all I've got for you guys today. And honestly, I told myself, I told myself because I didn't have as many topics that I was going to talk slow. Do you think I talked slow? No, I don't know how, unfortunately. So I'm sorry for that. This is a shorter, not a slower, a shorter Guerrilla Sports Daily. And no offense to you guys, I love hanging out with you, but I will hang out with you 2 more times today. And the Nuggets are playing right now. And as much as I love you guys, I might love the Nuggets a little bit more. So I am going to hop off here. I'm going to check out that game so I can take some notes, make sure I have some content for you guys for off court. Let me read you our schedule, okay? Just so that you can not miss anything and be tuned in to all things Guerrilla Sports. Okay, Guerrilla Sports Daily right now with Liv Moods. Hello, how are you? Next, off field at 11 a.m. Mountain Time, myself, BK, and Nate will be talking all things, can the Broncos finally beat the Raiders? If they can't, blow the whole thing up. Okay, off court, 12-1, okay? Myself, might have Jesse come hang out with me, might have somebody else, I don't know, but we're going to talk basketball. We're going to talk through the preseason game. We're going to figure out where are the Nuggets, how is our bench looking, can they compete against the Celtics in Abu Dhabi? We'll talk about that at 12. At 1, we've got Off Ice with Megan, JJ, and Jesse. My gosh, we've got content for days here today. And then Dumb Jock at 3 p.m. Mountain Time with the one and only Nate Jackson, an OG, really. So we've got content all day long, you guys. You won't be bored as long as you are following Guerrilla Sports, all things Guerrilla on YouTube, on social media. We've also got separate pages for all of our beat shows, off court, off ice, off field. We've got you covered 7 days a week, 25/8. So if you're not subscribed, if you're not following, shame on you. Do some self-reflection. Thank you for hanging out with me. Happy Friday. Much love. Have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you again for another Guerrilla Sports Daily on Monday morning, 10 a.m. Mountain Time. See ya.